What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas back with you. It's 10 p.m. on a Monday night, and we are talking about snow in the South. That's coming to Florida as well. The all-time record is going to be threatened. That's the all-time record for snow in Florida. It's not coming to Central Florida, the snow anyway, but I would not be surprised if some ice pellets, some sleet mixes in Wednesday morning. We're going to break all that down over the course that we are hanging out together. Again, this is our nightly Monday evening or our nightly or 10 p.m. live stream that we do every night to just kind of give you an update on the weather, go in depth, have a conversation. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. We can pull your comments over and we can talk about that. If you're watching on U6 Plus, of course, welcome. Hope you guys are having a great evening. It was a little raw this afternoon. The sun helped a little bit, but boy, we are in for a doozy over the next couple of days, especially our friends to the north. Still, though, if you are watching from Central Florida, which most of you guys are, tomorrow has been designated an inconvenient weather day by the News 6 weather staff, by the Pinpoint weather team, because of rounds of scattered showers. Nothing severe, but it's just going to be kind of an ugly rain if you're trying to do some shopping tomorrow or just out taking the kids around later on in the afternoon or getting them to school in the morning. It's going to be wet for parts of Central Florida, so that is why we have designated that. It's also going to be a pretty chilly afternoon. Temperature is going to struggle through the 50s again under overcast skies with those showers. So it's more of that inconvenient weather where it's not threatening anything, but it is inconveniencing your plans. Where it is going to be threatening things, it's going to be further to the north. And by the way, we are taking a live look tonight in Marineland above my head and Ponce Inlet below my head in the Brady Bunch box with our WeatherStem network of cameras. Thank you to WeatherStem for the use of their extensive weather systems across really the country, but extensive through the South. Look at all that pink on your screen. These are winter storm warnings that extend almost to Brownsville, Texas, to Alachua County, Florida, and then up into the Carolinas as well. So we have winter storm warnings as far south as Gainesville, pretty much to the Marion, Alachua County line for the likelihood now of snow and or ice, really snarling travel. You saw the loop before we got on and started talking that we were already starting to see snow develop. We'll give you a live look here. This is the loop again that I was showing you guys, and that is the makings of it. We have a mix going on in Houston right now. We have some heavy snow starting to develop around Dallas, Fort Worth. This is going to continue to spread north and east gradually over the next several hours and then turn into this behemoth winter storm that, again, that not only could break records in Florida, but could shatter records across the Deep South for the amount of snow on record going back to the late 1800s. Locally, it is chilly, and we're going to talk much more about that winter storm if you're interested on the other side of our break coming up in a few minutes. So if you are interested in the larger picture and things like that, we'd love for you guys to stick around. Of course, we'll have your 7-day forecast coming up. We'll have your hour-by-hour forecast and all that jazz. But right now, as you're getting ready to head to bed or maybe getting into work if you're doing second shift, Gainesville's at 39. We're at 42 in Ocala, 41 in Palm Coast. Orlando's checking in at 45 degrees. Mico, good evening. We're at 49. Lakeland is at 48. Denellen is hanging right around 40 degrees. Hour-by-hour forecast, rain chances are going to be high tomorrow. Now, when you see a 100% shot there, that doesn't mean it's going to be raining the entire time for everybody across Central Florida. What'll start out with maybe a few breaks in the clouds will quickly fill in, and we'll see a mainly overcast sky there. But again, just because you see 100% shot, and I will show you future radar and talk about exactly and I'll talk about exactly what we're going to break down in just a couple of minutes, but with the future radar. But that's going to be something that we really, really watch going forward. Okay, so great question. This is coming in from New Orleans. Will they close the airport in New Orleans tomorrow? Thank you, Tim, first of all, for hopping on the live stream here. I have a friend flying out of New Orleans at 10 a.m. to Jacksonville. So if you stick around with me for just 1 second on the other side of this short break, we're going to look at the future radar. By that point in New Orleans, it should be snowing. So there is an opportunity for that, for the airport to issue a ground stop or to close, especially because, again, up north, they have the ability to keep the runways clean Down here, they don't. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with those airports in the deep south. We'll get into that in just 1 second if you stick with me, Tim. And again, anybody else tuning in on YouTube, post in the comments where you're watching from. If you're in Florida, if you're somewhere else, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from on a Monday night at 10 o'clock. So here's a live look in Maitland right now. We're back in Central Florida with our WeatherStem network of cameras. Again, we pinpoint this to the 10th of degree, so we are extremely precise. 43.8 degrees here on the weather sensor in Maitland. This is going to be at Maitland Fire 45, if you're familiar with that area. The breeze is north at about 5 miles an hour at 13-mile-per-hour wind gust. The pressure is at 30.34 inches of mercury. That's what pressure is measured in at least one of the ways. And that pressure, the barometer, is rising in Maitland. So here we go. This is the satellite and radar and the makings of the storm already there. Of course, we showed you just a little bit ago, the snow already starting to develop in Texas. The clouds are starting to really increase. And again, here is a closer look at what is going on. The snow really starting to fill in. It's a crazy sight. And Houston could also break their all-time snow record. New Orleans could break their all-time snow record as well. That record is only, quote unquote, only 2.7 inches of snow, so they might be able to break that easy. Okay, real quick, I just wanted to give you a look at the future radar before we take a very, very short break, and then we're going to go hour by hour for Central Florida, and then I want to show you the bigger picture of what's going on with this system because it is wild. So here we go. 6 o'clock on your Tuesday morning, tomorrow morning, Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is going to be hanging out with you on News 6 in the morning, and she's going to likely be talking about scattered showers. So this is what I meant when 100% chance there's going to be a decent opportunity for it to rain, for there to be rain somewhere in Central Florida tomorrow. It will be scattered initially. So there's 5 o'clock on your Tuesday evening, maybe coming home from work. Going to be doing a little dodging. Certainly, we're going to be overcast with a few showers around. And then I think it's going to be late Tuesday and then really overnight into early Wednesday morning. So this is now 3 o'clock in the morning, and you see the green and yellow. That's going to be light to moderate rain across most of Central Florida. I do want to point out, though, especially if you're in Marion County, Flagler County, Alachua County, look at the pink there. So that could be some mixing. So I would not shut the door on hearing that little tink, 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 the sleet pellets as some colder air tries to come back in behind this main round of rain in Central Florida. So don't be surprised if you see some ice pellets falling from the sky in Flagler County, even in Marion County, Northern Sumter, Northern Lake, maybe Northwest Volusia as well. Near Astor, right around there. That's where we're going to see that as the opportunity anyway for it to be there. The impactful stuff will be north of you guys, but certainly that's not out of the question. There it is again, a little more pink as we try to dry things out for the bigger part. 9 o'clock, still dealing with some scattered showers as well. All right, as mentioned, again, tomorrow is an inconvenient weather day. And again, we designate an inconvenient weather day when it's going to inconvenience your plans a little bit. If you're driving around, we all know how drivers in Florida are anyway. You add a little rain to the mix, it gets a little crazy out there. But anyway, we'll be dealing with that opportunity. That was actually, I'm sorry, that's the wrong graphic. This is for tomorrow. That was the inconvenient weather day for that we had on Sunday with those scattered strong thunderstorms that blew on through. By the way, on Sunday, we had a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust reported in Ocala. So those storms, for some of us anyway, packed a punch. For others, not so much. We did get a little bit of rain out of the deal. We should get more rain tomorrow to help the crunchy grass, but it's going to be a very, very cold rain. So again, on the other side of this 2-minute break, we are going to go in depth. We'll take you hour by hour. We'll talk about how much rain is coming our way. And of course, we're going to have your pinpoint accurate 7-day forecast. There is light at the end of this tunnel if you hate this stuff, if you hate the cold weather, and we've had a lot of it this month, and if you hate this rainy weather, and certainly if you're in the Panhandle, if you hate this snow, we're going to break that down for you coming up in about 2 minutes on the other side of this break. But again, if you're new here, welcome. This is News 6 Plus, or if you're watching on the YouTube stream, again, we're going to do this every night at 10 o'clock, give you kind of a little appetizer to News 6 at 11. That's going to be on the traditional broadcast side of things. But if you go to bed early and don't typically stay up till 11 o'clock, I know it's late, believe me. I have some coffee right here, believe it or not, at 10 at night. Stressful forecast, so definitely need that. So I'm staying up late tonight. We'll be watching this. We'll be live streaming a lot tomorrow as well. Anyway, after this short break, we're going to get real in depth with this likely historic winter storm. Stick around, enjoy the live views from our WeatherStem camera. We have now added Windermere to the mix. That's going to be at the bottom of your screen. We'll see you in 2 minutes. That was a quick 2 minutes there, so just wanted to give you a quick break. Got to take that break, and now we're going to be talking about the live look in McIntosh. This is where we could see a few sleet pellets early Wednesday morning, about 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. in that ballpark. That's going to be an opportunity to hear that little tink, 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 especially with a tin roof. You're going to hear that. But if you see some things bouncing on the ground and they are ice, that's going to be sleet, not hail. We'll go over some precip type formation a little bit later on in the show. But just wanted to give you this live look here. It is chilly. It is 40.1 degrees in McIntosh. That is in North Marion County under a mainly cloudy sky. The breeze is out of the northeast at about 0 miles an hour. Every now and then a light gust at about 3 miles an hour. Okay, so to help our friend Tim out, he's tuning in from Los Angeles. Louisiana. Downsville, Louisiana as well. We have Tracy in the chat coming in as well. So this will give you a little bit just north of New Orleans there. There's 11 o'clock, and the blue on this screen represents where we have some moderate to heavy snow falling. The darker the blue, the heavier the rainfall. Or the heavier the snowfall. I'm just so used to saying rainfall. It's still hard to believe. I know this happens every now and then. This is one of those every now and then times, but it's still just crazy to see that we are going to have the snow meeting the sand really from maybe as far south as Corpus Christi to the Big Bend of Florida. It is wild. I can't remember a storm this extensive where we literally could have snowfall meeting sand in that large of a vicinity. That's why we throw around the word historic. Those that have followed me specifically and certainly New Six, we don't use those, the hyperbole unless we have to or need to or when it's warranted. This is one of those times because all-time records for snowfall could fall. So a question about will ice come to Orlando. No ice this time around in Orlando. So all the ice and snow stuff is going to stay away from Orlando. So look at that. New Orleans, still in the heavy snow. It's getting into Mobile. It's getting into the Panhandle of Florida. Then by the time we get into the evening hours, it's kind of wrapping up in Louisiana, in Mississippi, in Alabama. But look at the heavy snow here. This is going to be 8 o'clock on Tuesday night from Pensacola to Crestview, Panama City, Tallahassee, into Live Oak. In Florida, in terms of the snow, this is where I think we have the opportunity to break that all-time record of 4 inches. Again, that 4-inch record was broken or was set in the 1950s in Milton, Florida, so just near Pensacola. So that's the all-time, that's the state record, and those that data, that time frame goes back to the 1800s, so more than 130 years of data. We could break that record. It's going to be close, but I think somewhere probably in between Port St. Joe, Panama City, into Tallahassee, maybe to the west of Live Oak, in that little triangle, that's where I would pinpoint the record, if it's going to be threatened or broken, right in there, maybe just southwest of Tallahassee. 3 to 5 inches of snow is forecast there. I would not be surprised if we can even go over that by a little bit as well. This will continue to march to the east. 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, Jacksonville gets in on the fun. Jacksonville's all-time record is 1.9 inches. That was set back in 1899. I know. Somebody mentioned it, Milton. It's weird. On one of the graphics that I made, I had to put Milton, Florida, because it's like Milton, we just got hit by Milton in the summer during hurricane season. So Milton, Florida, it's kind of weird, kind of eerie. Look at this. Perry, speaking of hurricanes, we've been hit by everything pretty much over the last 2 years. Now we're going to get heavy snow that's straight from Perry to Madison to Lake City. This is the latest guidance that's just coming in, the latest model guidance, and it has even trended a little bit further to the south and east with this stuff. So you see Lakeside into Jacksonville now getting snow, Chiefland, even some flakes flying in and around Gainesville, and then that quick changeover period where abruptly it comes to an end, as again, it is going to be on the warmer side, relatively speaking, but still just wild. So for anybody watching in Central Florida, and again, welcome to the New 6 page on clickorlando.com. Clickorlando.com, New 6 Plus on YouTube, or New 6 on YouTube. We have so many platforms, it's hard to remember them all. And then on New 6 Plus, if you're hanging out with us before you're heading to bed. Here's the clouds and rain forecast. It starts tonight. Obviously, it's quiet overnight. We get kind of 2 rounds through Central Florida. The first one comes through on tomorrow, Tuesday. That's in the morning. Might take a little bit of a break into the afternoon. And then there we go at 5 o'clock on Tuesday. With a few more scattered downpours around on your way home from work. The steadiest stuff, I think, comes in overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. And I'm talking about from a Central Florida perspective at this point. You see the darker reds. And by the way, at this point, this is the future radar not knowing what to do. I think that rain snow line is going to be pretty close. So where you're seeing that red there, that could actually be the future radar showing that it's trying to say, hey, it's going to sleet here. And that rain snow line could go from like Palm Coast, or that rain sleet line could go from Palm Coast to Ocala. And then we eventually get that changeover happening. We'll take that a little bit further. And again, while this should not be impactful, whereas I don't think we're going to be dealing with any travel issues northwest of I-4, I would not be surprised if we do have a short window for some sleet. And again, that's going to be those little ice pellets that really bounce down from the sky. Again, it's that ice. We'll go over some precip types and how they form in a couple of minutes. But again, as far as timing out the rain, there's 9 o'clock. This will certainly help the lawn. I'm excited about that. My lawn is fried. I don't really doesn't grow this time of the year, but still, it's super dry. We'll take this anywhere from a ½ inch up to an inch of rain coming between Tuesday and Wednesday evening. That's through 7 o'clock, and really the rain again gets underway tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning. So that's the deal with the amount of rain coming in. Heaviest rain to be northwest, lightest rain should be southeast once again. In terms of, we'll go into your tomorrow forecast, so I don't run out of time, but rain chances at about 50% tomorrow through the course of the afternoon. That's going to be overnight. So rain chances at 50% overnight. We're in the Villages at 39. Cold start. 44 in Orlando, 49 in Titusville, 36 in Ocala when you wake up tomorrow morning. A little bit warmer along the Space Coast. We're at 52 in Melbourne. West Melbourne, Palm Bay, we're in the low 50s. Mico and the Grand Falcaria, we're back to the mid 50s as well. Cocoa Beach and Cocoa, we're in the low 50s. Ponce Inlet, where we're taking a live look, just below my head with our Weather STEM network of cameras. And Marineland, we're going to be around 40 in Marineland. That's above me in the Brady Bunch box, as I like to call it. We got so many boxes here. Ponce Inlet, live look there. It's chilly right now. We're going to be in the mid 40s tomorrow morning when you wake up. Okay, let's talk about precip types, because I know a lot of us in the South that may not be too familiar with this. This is what is going on in the atmosphere, so you can impress your friends tomorrow. Think of the atmosphere in layers, like a cake, or think of the atmosphere like we just took a column. We cut out a little square piece or a little column shaped thing and fill it up with air. Okay. So when we're talking about rain that we are mostly used to in the South, including Florida, even in the wintertime. So in the wintertime, even when it's raining, even when it's warm at the surface, 50, 60, 70 degrees, the snow, or the precip is starting out as snow 10, 20,000 feet above your head. But it falls through a warm layer quickly, and that snowflake turns into a raindrop. When you're talking about freezing rain that some of us will see, still starting off as a snowflake, but it falls through a pretty deep layer of air, and it turns into a raindrop. However, the difference between rain and freezing rain is at the surface, there is a very shallow layer of below freezing temperatures. So that raindrop, when it comes back through, it freezes on contact with anything that is below freezing. Think of a glazed donut, how it has that light film of that nice sugary glaze that just coats it, and it tastes so good. When you get that, though, in the weather world, that's not good, because freezing rain is terrible. Nobody likes freezing rain. It's very, very treacherous to drive in, of course, more so than snow, because I don't care what you're driving. I don't care what four-wheel drive you have. It's just really, really hard to get any traction. It's, of course, ice. So that's the most dangerous type of precip that we're dealing with, freezing rain. We have a rhyme for that. The freezing rain clings, sleet pings. So think of it, again, the glazed donut versus like a sprinkled donut, where the sleet will just kind of lay on top and it bounces. So same kind of deal. You're starting off with snow about 10, 20,000 feet above your head. It goes through a very shallow layer of warm air, but enough to melt that snowflake, turn it into a raindrop. And there's enough below freezing air that when that raindrop falls back into it, it refreezes into an ice pellet, and then it'll bounce off the ground. So certainly it's slippery, but it's not clinging to things, and it's not making that layer of ice. So it's like sprinkles on top of a donut. Yeah, a little bird flu. You gotta teach with food, because I could go for a glazed donut right now. I don't know about you. I got my coffee right here. Nearly 10:30 at night. I could go for a donut. And then snow, of course, where a lot of us are going to see around the I-10 corridor and down to Galveston and beyond. The column of air is below freezing when the snowflake leaves the cloud, and it stays a snowflake all the way down to the surface, because the entire column of air is below freezing. So there, in a nutshell, is the precip types, and the state of Florida is going to see all of those precip types. Tomorrow, a touch warmer. Rain chances go way up. Temperatures into the mid to upper 50s tomorrow, maybe sneaking into the 60s along the Space Coast. But It's going to be a raw day stuck in the clouds and dealing with all of those showers that are around. Hey, before we get into the 7-day forecast, if you're watching on YouTube, if you have found this content helpful, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us out a lot. It pushes it out to YouTube. It lets YouTube know that we're a credible source and lets it know that it's interesting. So if you find it interesting, I hope you do. Hit that thumbs up button as well. And if you want to get this live feed, or this live video, this live stream, that's what it's called. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button as well. And if you are watching on YouTube and you're in the greater Central Florida area and don't have News 6 Plus, download News 6 Plus for free. There is a ton of content on there that we provide all the time. We have live streams all the time. Meteorologist David Nazario goes live in the morning. I go live at 10 o'clock at night. We go live whenever there's nasty weather around. All of that stuff on there. So download News 6 Plus. It is free. It's on your smart TV, Apple TV, all that stuff. It is really a great resource, especially if you cut the cord and don't have cable and still want to get our newscasts. And again, we cover everywhere from Ocala down into Lakeland, down into the Space Coast, down into the Orlando area, down into Daytona Beach. So if you're in those areas, hit that, download that for free, hit that subscribe button. Okay, 7-day forecast in the Central Florida area. You see the exclamation markers there. That is because, again, we've designated that inconvenient weather day because it's just going to be inconvenient. Again, inconveniencing your plans. It's not threatening life and property. That's whenever we upgrade that to the weather alert day to make sure you're paying extra close attention. And all that stuff. We're still talking about donuts on here. Let me bring over that comment. That is a great comment. Thank you for that. Tim is in Jacksonville. We're talking about Louisiana for you earlier. Space Coast, Joseph, thank you for tuning into the live stream tonight. Again, live on News 6 Plus and on the clickorlando.com YouTube page. Let me get the comment out of the way so you can see what's happening there. Light at the end of the tunnel. Finally, I think the coldest morning is on Saturday, and it's weird because losing my voice. I need to get some water next time. We've been talking for a while as I only have a couple minutes left before I have to get ready for the 11 o'clock news. And we're going to talk much more about this at 11 o'clock. So if you're in the greater Central Florida area and you can get the CBS signal, News 6, WKMG, hop on over there in 30 minutes and we will see you. We'll be talking, of course, this entire winter storm, the local stuff, the stuff towards I-10, the snow, crazy run of things. But the reason why we're not dealing with the crazy Arctic cold like in Central Florida, it's because the system that provides the snow up to the I-10 area starts to wrap in some warmer air, relatively speaking, and starts to bring it back up the Florida Peninsula. If we weren't going to get this snow, we'd be talking about maybe temperatures getting into the 20s in Orlando without the wind. So this system that does bring the snow there is also preventing the major drop in temperatures. Saturday, looking better after a cold start. We're in the low to mid 60s, tons of sunshine. And then there we go. That light at the end of the tunnel, guys. Low to mid 70s. By the time we get into the weekend and next work week, and hopefully this is it, because it has been another crummy winter. I mean, seriously, it really has. Another one where we really haven't had much sunshine in 70s, and it's been cold. Alrighty, guys. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in to the 10 o'clock weathercast here. We are live every night at 10 p.m. where we go a little more in depth with the weather. We have a lot of time to kind of shoot the breeze with each other on here. That's why I love this so much. If you want to submit your comments, head on over to our YouTube page, post them there. Super interactive, super just hanging out, talking about the weather. I love the weather. I hope you do too. And, if you just want the information as well, we will, of course, provide that. All right, as we kind of wrap this up, going to leave you another live look with our WeatherStem network of cameras. Look at those brutally cold temperatures as well as the loop continues for about another minute. We're taking a live look in Marineland up top, Ponce Inlet in the middle, and a live look at Windermere at the high school there on the bottom. It is a chilly night in Central Florida. That about does it for us tonight, guys. I will see you in 30 minutes for News 6 at 11 o'clock, CBS affiliate out of Orlando. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Stay warm. Have a great evening.